Good afternoon, Fever and CC fans. So this is just a little pregame video to talk about a couple of things, okay? Now, the reason I'm doing this is because something came up this afternoon and I was really, quite frankly, kind of shocked about it. And I wanted to throw it out there to get your reaction to this. And because I am going to have to take a nap since the game tonight does not start until 9:30. And tomorrow I must be up at 5:15 for work. So I need to get some sleep in now so I can see the game. But today I was stunned to read that Sandy Brondello, the winningest coach in New York Liberty franchise history, was not renewed for another season. Okay. She is not only the winningest coach in New York Liberty franchise history, but she delivered 2 32-8 seasons with that team in 2023 and again in 2024. She also was the first head coach in Liberty history to win a championship. And yet she will not be returning to the New York Liberty. Now, before this was even announced, I believe in a post-game press conference, and it may have been the game where the Liberty got knocked out of the playoffs. One of the reporters asked, Brianna Stewart, I believe, I think Sabrina Ionescu was there as well, what their response would be to the rumors that Sandy Brondello would not be back next year. And I know it took Brianna Stewart, it took Stewie by surprise, because under her breath, she muttered WTF, only she said the words, and it was picked up on her microphone. So now we find out just a couple of days later that Sandy Brondello is gone. I am actually quite stunned because, first of all, it is really hard to repeat, okay? Because you come into the season with a target on your back once you've won the championship. And in fairness to Sandy Brondello, she has been saddled with some injuries this year. Nothing, of course, like what Stephanie White has had to endure with the Fever. But nevertheless, a couple of injuries to Stewie, a couple of key injuries to other people. And I don't understand why they would fire Sandy Brondello. I just don't. So I'm looking for your input on this, okay? I do know that there are several people who will be free agents from the Liberty in the off season. And the question is, if she lands somewhere else, will those players follow her to that location, wherever she ends up coaching? So again, looking for your input. I was actually really quite shocked. From everything I have read and everything I have seen, she is undoubtedly one of the best coaches in the WNBA. And it really shocked me that the New York Liberty would fire her in such an unceremonious way, when, I don't know, maybe she felt something coming. Maybe she thought it would be in the wind because they, of course, started the season 9-0, and they suffered their first loss at the hands of the Indiana Fever, and Caitlin Clark was massive in that game. But be that as it may, Sandy Brondello is no longer the head coach of the Liberty. I don't know who they're going to go with next, or where they go, or where she goes. So I'd like your input on that. Feel free to comment at will. The other thing I want to talk about is there's some nonsense being bandied about in the other sites, most notably in John the Liquidator's site and And I think Mick Talks Hoops is talking about this too, that Caitlin Clark can come back in the playoffs now and play due to a loophole in the WNBA rules. So these are the kinds of things I'm going to show you this. This is what spurs this kind of conversation, okay? This is Caitlin Clark. Hang on. I just want to, improve obviously the quality of this video. So this is Caitlin Clark. In Shootaround, okay? This is Caitlin Clark in Shootaround. Here she is right here with her two different color sneakers on. This is Caitlin. This is her participating in Shootaround during the previous series. Once again, I've done it. Okay, so I'm going to stop that before I go out. But so that is the kind of response we get when we see Caitlin Clark doing Shootaround. So let me just say this, okay? There is absolutely no truth to the fact that there's a loophole that will allow Caitlin Clark to play in this or any series should they make it through the semifinals, okay? There isn't a loophole. Playoff rosters have to be submitted prior to the playoffs, all right? And once they are submitted, they cannot be changed. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that participating in Shootarounds is not being game ready. Caitlin Clark has not participated in any full contact practice with her teammates. She has not practiced in a real game scenario because the decision was made that it would be best for her to get 100% healthy before the 2026 season. They took the long view of what Caitlin Clark needed to be able to come back and not re-injure herself. Now, if they put Caitlin Clark back in the game in a real game scenario without any full contact practice to see just exactly what she can withstand and how her endurance is after not playing at all since July 15th, they run the risk of her re-injuring herself and not starting the 2026 season at full strength. That is incredibly stupid, okay? That would be an incredibly stupid move. So don't listen to these people because there isn't a loophole. I will put the article in here that declares there isn't a loophole so you can all see it. I will also put the video of the Shootaround in here. But I'm seeing everywhere now on the side of where my videos are, she can come back. Caitlin Clark could return. Caitlin Clark is not returning for the 2025 playoffs. We live and die with the team that we have, okay? And we look forward to next year when Caitlin Clark comes back 100% healthy and the Fever return to their normal style of basketball. You know, and as Aaliyah Boston said, when Caitlin Clark's on the floor, be prepared to run, because that's the way she plays. And players have to be aware of that when she's on the floor, you need to be ready to move, because she likes to play up tempo. She just said this in an interview with Sue Bird, that you need to be ready when Caitlin Clark comes out, because she's not going to waste any time getting the ball up the court. So that's what I look forward to. That kind of exciting, no holds barred basketball. Okay? That's what Caitlin Clark has to offer. And that kind of basketball makes it awfully hard for the opposing team to defend. To defend the offense. So while she's on the floor, that's what everybody should be expecting. But Caitlin Clark cannot do that without first having passed some tests. And that will not happen this season or in these playoffs. So that's what we will be looking forward to in 2026. Okay. So there's a lot to watch now. There's a lot. There's going to be a lot of movement with head coaches. I believe, is it the Storm? Yeah, I believe the Storm fired their entire coaching staff, not just the head coach, but everybody. The whole coaching staff, the whole shebang has been fired. Sandy Brondello's gone. And we'll have to see what shakes out as the playoffs move to their conclusion. So there'll be a lot to watch. You know, the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. And no, I do not believe there'll be a lockout. I do not believe there is a benefit to either side to have a lockout in 2026. And I think both sides view that as a colossal mistake. So while there is some posturing going on, there always is with this kind of stuff, I believe they will come to some kind of an agreement. Okay? And it may be that they agree to extend the CBA deadline. They've done that in the past so they can get it resolved. Okay? And that's what I am. That's where I am right now. I just wanted to throw that out to you and see what you guys think about Sandy Brondello. And I will be back. We will be back after the game. Okay? And we will talk about what goes on during the game. We will see if the Fever can take 2 in Vegas tonight. But again, as I said last night, they need to be prepared, because their coach was mighty unhappy. She was mighty unhappy with their performance. And I believe she will have lit a fire under their butts. So the Fever just need to go out there and play ball. And let's see what happens. They need to be prepared, though, for Asia Wilson to maybe come out a little bit differently than she did the first game. And AB will be tested again, I believe. So let's see what happens. Either way, we needed one of these games, and it's always best to get the first game when you are in this situation, and the Fever did that. So I'll see you guys tonight. Have a great game. Stay cool.